Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Malie and I live in Utah Zone 6/7. And today I wanted to show you something really interesting that happened after a mini disaster. Now sometimes mini disasters can be exactly disastrous and sometimes they can teach us something. So let me go show you what happened and then we'll talk about what I've learned. So this is the hill that I built my garden on. We have raised beds that are terraced so that the water is held. And I don't ever usually plant things between the beds because I just don't want to waste the water. Now I absolutely love finding different ways to save water and water less, but I was an epic failure the other night. This is my hose with a spray head that has a shutoff valve on it. And after I did a video and planted all of my fall crops, it was really late. So I turned off the shutoff valve and went down to turn off the water and for some reason bypassed turning off the water and forgot. Went to work the next day and came home to a massive flood. The hose was still on and we had ruptured the hose right here. You can see right there where the hole is. And there was a geyser and puddles of water, and it's taken 3 days to dry enough for me to walk over it. Now I am watering the food forest again because of the broken hose, a lot of it didn't get watered. But this area right through here got watered. You can see where all the soil flowed down to the bottom. So let me go show you that. So the geyser at the top of the hill pretty much eroded most of the soil out of there and brought it down here. And let's look at the soil down here. So a lot of the compost, now the compost is not compost because I put compost on the soil between my beds. It's because I mulch between my beds and that breaks down into a compost. So we've got a layer of that. This is the mulchy compost that I have. And then we have a layer of sand. Now this sand is a topsoil that the owner that built this house, well, I own this house now, but the person that built this house brought this in to cover what I'm going to show you next. So we've got sand and compost, and right through here you can see the layers. You can see how deep the layer of topsoil is with the sandy topsoil. Then we've got, the compost is washed off the top of that, but we have compost up on top of that. And this is my native soil right here. It's almost completely rock. Some of the sand has gone down into it, but it's mostly rock and clay. Now the reason it's rock and clay is because I am at the base of the Rocky Mountains, and this is what's called a scree slope. Now a scree slope is where rocks are washed down the slope and where they settle when you have a large body of water, or where you have water and erosion hitting a hillside. Now this bench just above me, before the mountain in the background, it used to be an old beach. This area where I am standing right now was under a lake bed, Lake Bonneville. So as the waves would crash and the rain and snow would erode down the hillside, it would bring down all the rocks down through here. And this is what the native soil on my property looks like. Now let me go down and show you the hill and all of the plants that I have planted into these rocks. And we'll talk a little bit about whether or not you can plant plants in rocks and have them survive and thrive. Now I decided it would probably be easier for me to stand up on my deck and show you what grows in rock. So this area down here, I did bring in a good 4 to 5 inches of topsoil before I put in my food forest. But the trees are rooting down into the rocks below. You can see the hillside over there and see the rocks from where everything eroded, how everything flowed down the hill and ended up right there. But there was no topsoil brought in for this hillside up here. So this hillside is completely covered in fruit trees and evergreens, junipers, we've got some lilacs, we've got our Canadian chokecherry. The grass right here has only about 3 inches of topsoil over it. But everything seems to be really happy. And let's go talk about why it's happy even though it's growing in pretty much just straight rock and clay. And while we're headed back over to my tripod so that I can see you while I talk to you, I wanted to show you that for the vegetables we're growing in raised beds. Growing vegetables and annual flowers and things that are shallow rooted does not work well in just plain rock and clay. So that is why all of my garden beds are raised. I put really good soil in my raised beds, and that way I can actually grow vegetables here rather than just trees and shrubs and perennials. Now, if you listen to some gardeners, they make it sound like if you have rocks or in your soil, you need to remove all of them before you plant anything. But I'm here to tell you that trees and shrubs actually prefer to have a few rocks in the soil. The reason why is because the rocks provide drainage. Now, we also have heavy clay that are mixed with the rocks. I am not able to dig into my soil, my native soil, with a shovel. I actually have to use a pickaxe and a crowbar to dig into it. Otherwise, I can't get very deep. But the roots of the plants are able to snake through the rocks. They're able to get the nutrients out of the clay holds some water, the rocks allow drainage, and it actually makes a really good environment for roots. Matter of fact, there's something called structural soil, where you take 80% angular rocks, 20% clay, and I think it's 10%, maybe they've changed it to 5%. 5 or 10% of that is going to be a water-holding polymer. And that structural soil is used under sidewalks to help trees' roots able to traverse below sidewalks without breaking the sidewalks. So what I have here basically is a naturally made structural soil. So if you're on a property that has a lot of rocks, don't fret. If you're going to grow annuals and vegetables, either bring in some topsoil and plant it into that, or grow your annuals and vegetables in raised beds where you can control the soil. But if you have trees and shrubs, the only thing to worry about is digging the hole. But once you've dug the hole, you know you're going to have good drainage. And if there's enough clay, you know there's going to be some water holding capacity and your trees are going to thrive. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you grown plants in rocky soil, and how have they done for you? So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If it has been helpful, I hope you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and go have a wonderful garden adventure.